It's time now for the Peter Chill Morning News on this Thursday morning, July 14th, 2016. Good morning to you all on this lovely Thursday morning, July 14th, 2016. Here are your news and odds on our top story at 8:48 on this Thursday morning is when the Republican National Convention coming next week. Attention has focused on a convention committee on rules which began meeting last night. The chief of the Fresno Police Department took the mayor's step Wednesday and publicly released a body camera video footage of officers fairly shooting an unarmed 19-year-old man last month that shooting at the fierce protests. In case you have just emerged from the desert island long sleep, UK's new Prime Minister Theresa May, who had turned in as appointed the new Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson. Lake Buena Vista, Florida. Firefighters at Walt Disney World were warning of self-feeding alligators at one of the resort's fire stations took 2 months for an alligator killed a toddler. There was a story a while back about how LeBron James, Kamal, Anthony, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Paul went into team up with someday that some basketball team in the current NBA traditional rivals of foe source joined forces instead of competing against each other. As Lebanon and other NBA stars started the SBA to take the first step in speaking out against violence. The United States is offering Russia to do military back against ISIS and Al-Qaeda in Syria, according to the leaked U.S. proposal. Theresa May stuck a popular stone in the first public remarks as British Prime Minister on Wednesday, said she had planned to continue predecessor of David Cameron's true legacy of social justice. Juba, Uganda. Uganda's army began evacuating citizens from beside neighboring South Sudan Thursday, where fighting between forces as the loyal to the president and his rival has plunged in the nature of the worst crisis since the end of a 2-year civil war. Italian authorities have promised a safety vacation of Tuesday's crash, which left at least 27 people dead. EU governments unable to agree on final statement on UN rule and some lobbied by China, others that own maritime disputes. Damascus, Syria. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad said the country's civil war will be won with a moment, said Russia's support has tipped the scales. Raqqa, Syria. The Islamic State has confirmed the death of key official Omar Shoshani, the United States reported in March. Justin Goldstein, a meteorologist from WTNH TV in New Haven, Connecticut, was arrested on Tuesday on charges of child pornography possession charges. Brandon, Utah. Laminated sheets of paper held in place by rocks rested inside of the ancient cliff. Dwellings nestled underneath a spectacular red rock overhang in the southeastern Utah. It's been a month since a serial shooter has opened fire at a Phoenix community of Maryville, but on Tuesday, police announced that his list of victims and the investigation had grown. A Virginia school board asked the Supreme Court on Wednesday to block a transgender male from using the boys' restroom when he comes back to the school in September until the High Court decides whether to review the case. Atlanta. Georgia State Board of Pardons and Paroles rejected a clemency request for a convicted murderer facing a lethal and rejected execution on Thursday. Auburn, New York. Driving an Auburn, New York Christian's car to a tree wall involved with a plate at the smartphone game Pokemon Go, police said. Charleston, South Carolina. A South Carolina judge refused to set the state trial of Dylan Roof, who confessed to the shooting and massacre at Charleston Church ahead of a federal trial. Washington. The Holocaust Memorial Museum at the Orthodox State made it clear they don't have Pokemon Go players on the premises. Los Angeles. A Chinese businessman has been sentenced to nearly 4 years in prison for hacking U.S. military information to Chinese military, F40D said. Norfolk, Virginia. 3 men were shot with one still critical condition while they sat in a car, wrapped up Facebook Live, police said. Los Angeles, alias upscale suburb of Santa Monica, has convicted its first Airbnb landlord in the nation's toughest short-term rental regulations. Delta Airlines on Thursday said it decided to reduce its U.S.-UK capacity to its winter schedule because of additional foreign currency headwinds from the steep drop in the British pound and the economic uncertainty for Brexit. London, the Bank of England has kept interest rates unchanged on Thursday, while for the many investors who have expected the first cut in more than 7 years where British economy reeled from last month's low to leave the European Union. Line, the mobile message app of Japan is going public today. Dual Japan-US IPO that could raise as much as $1.14 billion. In Springfield, Massachusetts, a family-owned supermarket chain based in western Massachusetts is expanding east. Springfield-based Big Wine Foods has entered into an agreement to acquire the operation assets of 8 Ediford stores in East Massachusetts to be divested as a result of a proposed merger of international supermarket chain Ale and Deleuze. The locations of the Hanfords that are going big rises in September are Kingston, Quincy, Norwell, Milford, Norwood, Peabody, Saugus, and Easton. Manila. One seen as an economy by natural gas resources for the Asian Development Bank said Papua New Guinea is on pace for severe contraction. Perth, Australia. Australian energy company Woodside said it was waiting to the waters of the coast of Senegal after acquired assets from Congo Phillips for $350 million. Edmonton, Alberta. Alberta allowed energy companies early entry into the Walter Creek Alberta as government said it formed an advisory panel to address sector emissions. Brussels. Alphabet Incorporated Google's parent company expects additional formal changes of the European Union's antitrust regulator Thursday. London. Iraqi-focused energy company Gulf Keystone Petroleum said it appointed a new chairman and movement ahead without obstruction options to address that. London. The oil and gas reserve remaining in the British waters need to attract the right investments under the administration of Theresa May, an industry body said. Take a look at the stocks now. 18372.12, SP 521.52.43, and Nasdaq 5005.73. One of the planet's most astronomically furious beasts said one of the animal kingdoms. So this features yes when talking about the company showed opposite Tyrannosaurus Rex. Using a newly released specific underwater microscope to preserve the coral pops up the coast of Israel and Maya eating Tanzanian kissing. The semi and region of northeast Brazil offers a little for monkey eats very hard shells, fruits and seeds. Cash was made initially get HIV positive patients engaged in healthy behaviors that affected the financial centers. However, there's no better than other adventures in the long run. Changes in brain exertion with Alzheimer's disease can be seen as early as childhood. People with genetic risks, according to the study published Wednesday in the Journal of Neurology and a said hearing on Wednesday. 3 said U.S. government officials warned the Western Hemisphere is under threat from a Zika virus, and that Florida, Puerto Rico, and Brazil are the regions most at risk. McCloud D.C. reported. Obesity is really 3 times more deadly for men than women, the newest research suggests. Worcester, Massachusetts, a master man who lured teenage girls and men online in real-life sexual encounters and been sentenced to 20 years in prison. Matthew Clem was sentenced on Wednesday in federal court after pleading guilty to multiple charges, including 4 counts of aggravated child rape. Prosecutors said the 31-year-old North Brooklyn man between 2011 and 2014 persuaded teens he met online to send them police report of themselves and admit some for sex. Some victims were young as 14. Peter Cello News Time, 8:35. Time for a sport report. Tunes Scotland. It's early at Royal Tunes, but has stopped the 2016 Open Championship from starting off with some early fireworks. From Johnny Menzel standing in practice at the start of Oklahoma and Donald Little Successor Menzel grad transfer. Turbinite is ready for his last round Texas A&M. 3 out of the bits that have played the respective sports decided to hang him up this year. Painted Man went out after winning the Super Bowl. Kobe Bryant retired after having the most Kobe game of all time, and Abby Walmart called it a career. Peter Cello News Time. Now. Peter Cello News Time is now 8:35 on this Thursday morning, and it's time now for a traffic and transit report. Let's study out the MBT, where Fairmont Worcester Line train 510 is operating 10-20 minutes fiasco between West Dedekind and South Station. Newbury Report. Train 160 expected to operate 550 minutes late between Beverly and North Station. Make it all stuff accompanying passengers from canceling. Providence train 812, 7:50 a.m. for Providence operated 550 minutes fiasco between Attleboro and South Station due to early mechanical issue. On the subway, Green Line experienced moderate delays due to truck work from Boston College and Washington Street both ways from 8:45 p.m. to closing. Orange Line experienced moderate no problem delays to the medical emergency Tufts Medical Center Station. And on the ferry day, looking good. Alright, look at that. Highways and byways. Where we're seeing the highways and byways New York City got Sogo, Merritt Parkway and southbound side is back there from Bridgeport to Stamford. 95 of the southbound side is from Bridgeport all the way to Stamford, Connecticut. 95 of the northbound side is from Greenwich to Stamford. 91 of the southbound side is also New Haven. 95 of the northbound side is also from West Haven to Route 91. 95 of the southbound side is also from Bedford Ridge. IE4 westbound side is backed up from Newtown all the way to Danbury. IE4 eastbound side is also in Waterbury, Connecticut. IE4 on the eastbound side is so from Richmond to Hartford, Connecticut. 91 on the northbound side is backed up from Route 9 in Middletown all the way to IE4 Hartford, Connecticut. 91 on the southbound side is backed up from 291 to IE4. IE4 westbound side it is backed up around the 91 at Hartford, Connecticut. IE4 eastbound side is also from New Britain to Hartford, Connecticut. 395 Lillington from Worcester to New London. 95 Lillington from New London all the way up to Cranston. 95 on the northbound side is backed up from Cranston to Route 146 in Providence. 69 connectors so from Route 6 to 95 downtown Providence. 99 northbound side those are Route 122 Woonsocket. Route 6 in the eastbound side it is so from Sandridge all the way to Hyannis. 95 and 24 northbound side is also for Route 128. 120 northbound side is slow down. Route 95 in Kenton, 120 on the northbound side. It is sold from 135. And Needham all the way at the Route 20 Waltham. 120 southbound side. It is slow from Route 3 in Burlington all the way up to the Route 2 in Lexington. 495 on the northbound side from 85 and Auckland all the way to the Mass Pike. I-84 on the eastbound side. Louisville for Route 20 in Sturbridge. I-84 eastbound side. Louisville, Union, Connecticut. Mass Pike on the eastbound side. Stop and go around Route 30 in Fairmont, Natick, and then Nebraska from 120 Western all the way at the Newton, and then Nebraska from the Boston University all the way at the Southeast Expressway. Mass Pike on westbound side sold from Lower Airport all the way to South Boston. 120 on the southbound side is sold from Linfield all the way at the Woburn. 120 on the northbound side. Stop and go around Route 95 to 114 Peabody stretch, and then Nebraska from the Beverly stretch. Southeast Expressway southbound side sold to Dorchester stretch. Northbound side it is sold from the split all the way at the Mass Pike. 93 on both ends in downtown Boston at Soul Road. 93 on the northbound side, close to Route 128 and Reddit. 93 on the southbound side, so from Medford all the way to Zaker Bridge. Route 1 on the southbound side, so from Charlestown all the way up to Chelsea. Some to tell Salt, Carrollton, Lincoln, good. 495 on the northbound side, so from Stowe all the way out to Westford. 495 on the southbound side, also the low stretch. Route 3 to the southbound side is backed up from 495 low to Billerica. Then Route 3 to the southbound side is backed up around Route 128. In Burlington, 495 on the southbound side, Little Haverhill stretch, and up in New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine, looking good. Alright, Peter Challenger's 8:59 on this Thursday morning, and it is time now for a weather report. And check out radar, and it shows some spotty rain showers from North Branford, Connecticut, stretching it down through Colchester, Connecticut. And we're seeing some spotty rain showers around Waltham and west of Route 120, Route 2, and a line of rain showers from Danvers, stretching up to Lawrence and Havel, and up to Nashua and Danbury, New Hampshire, and Hampton, New Hampshire. Patch rain showers about Route 7. Alright? Look at our forecast. It goes like this. For today's sky showers, that's between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Most skies got have 84 degrees. South about 8 to 13 miles at just pace to 50%. New rain for miles to less than 10 minutes. 10 miles possible thunderstorms tonight. Sky showers. That's what made between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. Pitch back after 10 p.m. Otherwise, most skies get about 7 degrees and south about 5 to 8 miles at just pace to 30%. Friday, sunshine showers before 10 a.m. Most skies got about 84 degrees. Southwest about 5 to 9 miles at just pace to 20%. Friday night, most skies got about 66 degrees. Southwest about 3 to 6 miles at Saturday. Most skies got about 88 degrees. Sun west wind about 5 to 7 miles at Saturday night. Sunshine showers up to 2 a.m. Podcast got about 66 degrees and just pace to 20%. Sunday, most Sunday podcast got about 85 by 66 degrees. Monday, most skies got about 87 degrees. Monday night, church showers. Most skies got about 68 degrees. Chest patient 40%. Tuesday, church showers. Thursday, Sunday, most skies about 83 about 64 degrees. Chest patient 50%. And Wednesday, most skies got about 81 degrees. Currently not near it is podcast skies at 78 degrees, 26 Celsius, and humidity at 69%. And that is going to be it for the Peter Tell Morning News on this July 14th, 2016 on a Thursday. Please have a good morning and a goodbye day. See you at 12 noon for noon time. Have a good bye.